A winter storm shut down the nation's capital this week, but did anyone notice?
Hello and welcome to the DOGE and Maha News Channel. In this video, we're going to focus on the Department of Government Efficiency, and we are going to react to a video in which Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa announces a bill to drain the swamp and cut $2 trillion in spending. Apparently, she is the DOGE Caucus founder, so let's go ahead and see what she has to say.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my colleague from Oklahoma, Senator James Lankford, for arranging today's event. Mr. President, a winter storm shut down the nation's capital this week, but did anyone notice? Essential government employees showed up to do their jobs while the others enjoyed days off. My telework report revealed that just 6% of workers report in person full time. And these bureaucrats are doing anything but working. This is sadly just more business as usual. However, it's a fitting prelude to a much bigger storm that is headed this way that will sweep over this city and forever alter the way it operates.
She puts up a picture of a DOGE storm sweeping across D.C. That's pretty funny.
About the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Headed up by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, DOGE is putting Washington on notice. Henceforward, every cent being spent will now be scrutinized. All regulations must be justified and continually rejustified.
Yes, I like that.
Using data and outcomes, not just ideology.
Ooh.
And the government works for the people, not the other way around. To support these efforts, I am honored to be chairing the Senate DOGE Caucus and working to downsize the government, which is why my colleagues and I stand here today. For that, I again want to thank Senator Lankford, a founding member of the caucus, author of his Federal Fumbles, and a true hero to taxpayers, for organizing today's discussion. It's a rare occasion for this many senators to assemble on the Senate floor to call for spending cuts.
Actually, that's pretty funny. A rare occasion. Has it ever happened? Has it ever happened that the Senate or Congress has gathered together to call for spending cuts? I don't know, but that's pretty funny.
In fact, since my fellow Iowans sent me to the Senate 10 years ago to make the porkers squeal, it's been a very, very lonely fight. In this era of political polarization, Democrats and Republicans still come together in agreement over one issue: living high off the hog. When faced with proposals to trim the fat from Washington's budget, members of Congress from both parties act like Goldilocks. It's always too little or too big, and never just right. But the real make-believe of this fairy tale is that it's impossible to cut spending without causing pain. Most Americans aren't even benefiting in any meaningful way from the hundreds of billions of dollars hidden in our federal budget.
That's a really interesting point. Most Americans are not benefiting in a significant way or in any particular way from the $6.7 trillion that was spent last year. Yeah, I'm probably not, except for maybe the roads around my town and what else? I'm not getting any money. So I'm curious about you. What are you benefiting? Maybe you have Social Security, maybe you have Medicare or Medicaid or something like that. Great, you qualify for it. But what other benefits are people getting from all this? It seems like the oligarchs in Ukraine are benefiting a lot, but who else is benefiting?
In fact, Washington's out of control spending has been fanning the flames of inflation over the past 4 years, increasing everyday costs for families all across the country. There's no time to wait for DOGE to get to work because even being a lame duck isn't slowing down Biden's reckless spending. Biden's binge-buying bureaucrats are being ordered to work overtime, including weekends, to get billions of dollars out the door as quickly as possible before President-elect Trump takes office.
Isn't that sick? I mean, if that's true, that is disgusting, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Biden administration is ordering all these agencies to spend as much money as possible, to send out as much money as possible. How much of that is going to other countries? How much of that is being laundered? It's just disgusting. It makes me sick.
At the same time, the outgoing administration is cutting collective bargaining deals with government employee unions, giving bureaucrats the right to stay home from work until, get this, 2029, conveniently after President Trump's term. If federal employees don't want to come back to work, well, you know what? DOGE and I are happy to make that dream come true. My New Year's resolution is to put Washington back to work and on a diet. This week, I am reintroducing my bills to drain the swamp by relocating federal agencies and bureaucrats outside Washington. I am also putting forward a plan with $2 trillion in potential savings, which I ask unanimous consent to include in the record.
What do you guys think about moving the bureaucrats out of D.C.? I think that's really interesting, honestly, because they get caught up in all of the lobbyists and all of the spending and all of the parties and that kind of thing. Put these agencies outside of DC in the real world, because DC is its own little bubble, self-contained little bubble where they just kind of help each other out and feed off each other. But, put an agency in Texas, put an agency in Indiana, put an agency in, South Dakota, spread the agencies around where real people live and work in real communities. And I honestly think that will do a lot better, and make the leaders of these agencies from those same communities. And maybe they will just do a better job focusing on how they are serving the American people.
Mr. President, may I include this?
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. My proposal includes selling off thousands of vacant and underutilized buildings, auditing the IRS to fire the thousands of employees who owe tens of millions of dollars in unpaid taxes, pulling the plug.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I've heard that before. I saw that in other videos and reacted to it. There are thousands of actual IRS employees, and I believe the total that they owe in back taxes is roughly $50 million. So she's making a good point here. Fire them. Why are they still working for the IRS when they owe, tens of thousands of dollars in back taxes? It doesn't make any sense to me. They're probably using their position in the IRS to avoid paying taxes. It's a possibility, right? So get rid of them.
on Biden's billion-dollar boondoggles for gravy trains that never leave the station and electrical vehicle stations that aren't charging up anything but debt, bagging the swag and propaganda promoting government programs and agencies at a cost of $1.5 billion a year, and changing the composition of coins so we stop losing money making money. In fact, there's no better example of the cost of government inefficiency. Washington spends 3 cents to produce a penny and 11 cents to produce a nickel.
Is that true? That is crazy. Who is signing off on that? What a waste. Oh my gosh. 3 cents to produce a penny, 11 cents to produce a nickel.
That makes no sense. A penny here, a nickel there. Eventually, these examples all add up to millions, billions, and eventually trillions. The bottom line is that if you can't find waste in Washington, there can only be one reason: you didn't look.
Exactly.
Well, folks, I've spent the last decade looking while just about everyone else seems to have been looking the other way until now. While this is a personal issue for me, it should not be a partisan issue. After all, every American benefits from a more efficient government, and everyone loses when tax dollars are wasted. I have worked across the aisle on a number of issues to make Washington more transparent and accountable. So I would invite anyone in this body and everyone who may be watching at home who has ideas to join this conversation and our movement, because DOGE is inevitable. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor back to my colleague.
Well, I thought that was pretty good. I like her idea of a bill to drain the swamp, and it sounds like there might be a couple ideas in there. I would love to kind of read that bill and see what kind of details are in there. And, I don't know if it's going to go forward or make any impact, but I love seeing senators and congresspeople talk about DOGE and talk about cutting waste in government, getting rid of agencies that are not approved anymore. They're doing work that hasn't been approved by Congress for several years. So let's get rid of that kind of stuff, making it more efficient. I love it when people are talking about this in power. So, I'm more and more hopeful every day that DOGE is going to be able to make a big impact, and hopefully it's a lasting impact. We will see. We just have, about 9 more days until President Trump is inaugurated, and we'll see what DOGE rolls out. Hopefully we'll see some action right away. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. If you're interested in these stories, please like and subscribe to this video and this channel, because almost every single day I'm going to bring you the latest information regarding DOGE. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a lot of fun. If you want to see some of the other DOGE videos that I've created, I'm going to go ahead and put a playlist right here. Also, if you want to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click on this button right here. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.